Hare Krishna, Prabhu Standard Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Who would like to chant their Mangalacharna prayers?
Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dhanva Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhu.
Hare Bol.
Uh, Sorry, I can chant the prayers, but I cannot continue with reading the Bhagavatam because I have a call in about 15 minutes from now.
Yes,
Okay,
Prabhu.
in the meantime, I can complete the prayers.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hmm?
Thank you so much. That's okay.
No problem. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन मूर्णे भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति पदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् श्रीवैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्य देवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पदे गोपीश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्ता नमोऽस्तु ते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यो एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामीति नामने नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यसारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् शृण्वतां सपदा कृष्णः पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृद्यन्तोस्तो ह्यभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत् सतां नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतोत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी. Before reciting this Srimad-Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead, Narayana, unto Naranarayana Rishi, and the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma, super soul in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Bol.
Very good.
So, Rushikesh Prabhu, can you read? Pranjal Prabhu.
Prabhu, Prabhu, I can read in 15 minutes.
Yes, Prabhu. Okay, Haribol. Let's see how I can read. Text number 37. Rupavedaspodam divyam kala ityabhidiyate bhutanam mahadadinam yato binnadrisham bayam. Rupaveda, of the transformation of forms. Aspadam, the cause. divyam, divine, kalaha, time, iti thus, abhidhiyate is known.
Prabhu, sorry to disturb you. In fact, you have to share your entire screen as well, Prabhu.
Oh, what is happening?
Yes, yeah, it is visible now.
What I was
Please go
sharing?
ahead. We were able to look at the previous page.
Yes, Prabhu, okay. Bhutanam of living entities, Mahat Adinam, beginning with Lord Brahma, Yataha, because of which, Binnadrasham, with separate vision, Bayam, fear, translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The time factor, who causes the transformation of the various material manifestations, is another feature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Anyone who does not know that time is the anyone who does not know that time is the same Supreme Personality is afraid of the time factor. Let's see what this 329:37. 329:37. Oh, what is this? Is there? Is it not? Yeah, it's there. Purport. Everyone is afraid of the activities of time, but a devotee who knows that time factor is another representation of or manifestation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to fear from the influence of time. The phrase Rupa Vedas Padam is very significant. By the influence of time, so many forms are changing. For example, when a child is born, his form is small, but in the course of time, that form changes into a larger form, the body of a boy, and then the body of a young man. Similarly, everything is changed and transformed by the time factor or by the indirect control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Usually we do not see any difference between the body of a child and the body of a boy or young man because we know that these changes are due to the affection of the time factor. There is cause for fear for a person who does not know how time acts. What does this mean? Let's see. Similarly, everything is changed and transformed by the time factor or by the indirect control of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Usually, we do not see any difference between the body of a child and the body of a boy or a young man because we know that these changes are due to the action of the time factor. Okay, who wants to read? Oh, Hare Krishna. Siddharth Prabhu, Dandar Pram, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Prabhu, can you read next?
Take a shot on the Prabhupada. Yes, Prabhu.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Hari Bol.
Yo yonta pravishya bhutani bhuter atti akhilashayah sa vishnu akhyo adhinyajnasmao adhyajnasao kala kalayatam prabhu yah he who antah within Pravishya, entering, Bhutani, living entities, Bhutai, by living entities, Ati, annihilates, Akhila, of everyone, Ashrayaha, the support, Saha, he, Vishnu, Akhyaha, named, Adhiyanyaha, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, Asav, that, Kala, time factor, Kalayatan of all masters, Prabhu, the master. Translation: Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is the enjoyer of all sacrifices, is the time factor and the master of all masters. He enters everyone's heart, he is the support of everyone, and he causes every being to be annihilated by another. He causes every being to be annihilated by another. Purport: Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is clearly described in this passage. He is the supreme enjoyer, and all others are working as his servants. As stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ekale Ishvara Krishna, the only supreme Lord is Vishnu. Ara Sabha Bhritya. All others are his servants. Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods are all servants. The same Vishnu enters everyone's heart as Paramatma, and he causes the annihilation of every being through another being. Prabhu, does it mean they kill each other?
Yes, Prabhu.
Every being through another being. Killing. Okay. Okay, Prabhu.
Like we eat the vegetables.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Orchestrated.
Yes, Prabhu.
39. न चास्य कश्चित् दायितो न द्वेषो न च बन्धवः आविशत् आविशत्य अपरामतोऽसौ परमात्मं जनम् अन्तकृत् न not cha and Asya of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Kashyat, anyone. Dai, Daitaha, dear. Na, not. Dveshyaha, Dveshyaha, enemy. Na, not. Cha, and. Bandavaha, friend. Avishati, approaches. Apramataha, attentive. Asav, he. Paramatmam, Pramatam, inattentive. Janam, persons. Antakrit, just a minute, bro, you can scroll down a bit. Yeah. Antakrit, the destroyer. Translation: no one is dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, nor is anyone his friend or, nor is anyone his enemy or friend. But he gives inspiration to those who have not forgotten him and destroys those who have. But forgetfulness of one's relationship with Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the cause of one's repeated birth and death. A living entity is as eternal as the Supreme Lord. But due to his forgetfulness, he is put into this material nature and transmigrates from one body to another. And when the body is destroyed, he thinks that he is also destroyed. Actually, this forgetfulness of his relationship with Lord Vishnu is the cause of his destruction. Anyone who revives his consciousness of the original relationship receives inspiration from the Lord. This does not mean that the Lord is someone's enemy and someone else's friend. He helps everyone. One who is not bewildered by the influence of material energy is saved, and one who is bewildered is destroyed. It is said, therefore, Harim vina na sritam taranti. No one can be saved from the repetition of birth and death without the help of the Supreme Lord. It is therefore the duty of all living entities to take shelter of the lotus feet of Vishnu and thus save themselves from the cycle of birth and death. Text 40. Yadbhayad vati vato yam suryastapati yadbhayad varshate devo bhagano bhati yadbhayad. Yat, of whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Bhayat, out of fear, Vati, blows, Vataha, the wind, I am this, Suryaha, sun, Tapati, shines, Yat, of whom, Bhayat, out of fear, Yat, of whom, Bhayat, out of fear, Vashate, sends rain, Devaha, the god of rain, Bhaganaha, the host of heavenly bodies, Ati, shine, Yat, of whom, Bhayat, out of fear. Translation: out of fear, out of fear of the supreme personality of Godhead, the wind blows out of fear of Him. The sun shines out of fear of Him. The rain pours forth showers. And out of fear of Him, the host of heavenly bodies shed their luster. Purport: the Lord states in Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dhakshena Prakriti Suyate. Nature is working under my direction. The foolish person thinks that the nature is working automatically. But such an atheistic theory is not supported in the Vedic literature. Nature is working under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. And we also find here that the sun shines under the direction of the Lord. And the cloud pours forth showers of rain under the direction of the Lord. All natural phenomena are under superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Text 41. Yadvanaspatayo bhita latash chauksha chaushadhibhiः saha स्वे स्वे काले भिघ्रानन्ति पुष्पाणि च फलानि च yet because of whom vanaha patyah the trees bhitaha fearful lataha creepers cha and oshadibhihi herbs saha with swe swe kale each in its own season Abhigranati where Pushpani flowers cha and Phalani fruits cha also. Translation: Out of the fear of out of the out of fear of the supreme personality of Godhead, the trees, creepers, herbs, and seasonal plants and flowers blossom and fructify, each in its own season. Purport: as the sun rises and sets, and the seasonal changes ensue at their appointed times by the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, so the seasonal plants, flowers, herbs, and trees all grow under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It is not that plants grow automatically without any cause, as the atheistic philosophers say. Rather, they grow in pursuance of the supreme order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is confirmed in the Vedic literature that the Lord's diverse energies are working so nicely that it appears everything is being done automatically. That's true. Text 42. श्रवन्ति सरितो भीता मुत्सर्पति उदाधैर्यतः अग्निरिन्दे सगिरिभैर् पूर्णामाजति यद्भयात् श्रवन्ति flow saritah rivers bhitah fearful na not utsarpati overflows udadihi the ocean yataha because of whom agnihi fire inde burns sa girivihi with its mountains buhu the earth na not majati sings yat of whom bhayat out of fear. Translation: out of fear of the personality of Godhead the rivers flow and the ocean never overflows. So global warming is a scam.
Yes, Prabhu.
Out of fear of him, only does fire burn, and does the earth with its mountains not sink in the water of the universe? Purport: so we can understand from the Vedic literature that this universe is filled with water on which Garbhodaka Shai Vishnu is lying. From his abdomen, a lotus flower has grown, and within the stem of that lotus flower, all the different planets exist. And within the stem of that lotus flower, all different planets exist. The material scientist explains that all these different planets are floating because of law of gravity or some other law. But the actual lawmaker is the supreme personality of Godhead. When we speak of law, we must understand there must be a lawmaker. The material scientist can discover laws of nature but are unable to recognize a lawmaker. From Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, sorry, from Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, we can know who the lawmaker is. The lawmaker is the supreme personality of Godhead. It is said that, sorry, it is said here that the planets do not sink since they are floating under the order or energy of the supreme Godhead. They do not fall down into the water which covers half the universe. All the planets are heavy with their various mountains, seas, oceans, cities, palaces, and buildings. Yet they are floating. It is understood from this passage that all the other planets are floating air in the air have oceans, sorry, are floating in the air, have oceans and mountains similar to those on this planet. It is understood that it is understood from this passage all the other planets that are floating in the air have oceans and mountains similar to those on this planet. Okay. Text 43. Nabo dadati श्वासत्तां पदं यन्नियमान् अधः लोकं स्वादेहं तनुते महान् सप्ताभिरावृतां Nabha, the sky, Dadati gives Shwasatam to the living entities, Padam abode, Yat of whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Niyamat understood, under the control, Adaha, that Lokam, the universe, Swadeham, own body, Tanute expands, the Mahatattva Saptabihi with the seven layers, Avratam covered. Translation: subject to the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the sky allows outer space to accommodate all the various planets which hold innumerable living entities. The total universal body expands with its seven coverings under his supreme control. Purport: it is understood from this verse that all the planets in outer space are floating and they all hold living entities. The word Shwasata means those who breathe or the living entities. In order to accommodate them, there are innumerable planets. Every planet is a residence for innumerable living entities, and the necessary space is provided in the sky by the supreme order of the Lord. It is also stated here that the total universal body is increasing. It is covered by seven layers. And as there are five elements within the universe, so the total elements in the layers cover the outside of the universal body. The first layer is of earth, and it is 10 times greater in size than the space within the universe. The second layer is water, and it is 10 times greater than the earthly layer. The third, the third covering is fire, which is 10 times greater than the water covering. In this way, each layer is 10 times greater than the previous one. Text 44. Guna Bhimanino Devaha Sargad this Dishwa Asyayat Bhayat वर्तन्ते नुयुगां येषां वाशा वाशा एतच्चरा characharam guna, the modes of material nature, abhimanina in charge of, devaha, the demigods, sarga adishu, in the matter of creation and so on, asya, of this world, yad bhayat, out of fear of whom, vartate, carry out functions, anuyugam, according to the yugas, yesham, of whom, was Vashe, under the control, etat, this, chara acharam, everything animate and inanimate. Translation: out of fear of the supreme personality of Godhead, the directing demigods in charge of the modes of the material nature carry out the functions of creation, maintenance, and destruction. Everything animate and inanimate within this material world is under their control. Robert, the three modes of material nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance, are under the control of three deities: Brahma, Vishnu, and Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu is in charge of the mode of goodness. Lord Brahma is in charge of the mode of passion, and Lord Shiva is in charge of the mode of ignorance. Similarly, there are many other demigods in charge of air department, water department, the cloud department, etc. Just as the government has many different departments, so within the material world, the government of the Supreme Lord has many departments, and all these departments function in proper order out of fear of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Demigods are undoubtedly controlling all matter, animate and inanimate, within the universe. But above them, the supreme controller is the personality of Godhead. Therefore, in the Brahma Samhita, it is stated, Ishvara Parama Krishnaha. Undoubtedly, there are many controllers in the departmental management of this universe. But the supreme controller is Krishna. There are two kinds of dissolutions. One kind of dissolution takes place when Brahma goes to sleep during his night, and the final dissolution takes place when Brahma dies. As long as Brahma does not die, creation, maintenance, and destruction are actuated by different demigods under the superintendence of the Supreme Lord. Text 45. सोनन्तो अन्तरात् अन्तकारः कालो नादिर् आदिकृत् अव्यया जनां जनेन जनयान् मारायन् मृत्युर्नान्तकं सः स सः that अनन्तः endless anta antakara destroyer, kala time, anadihi without beginning, adikrit the creator, avyaya not liable to change, janam persons, janena by persons, janayan creating, marayan destroying, mrityona by death, Antakam, the Lord of Death. Translation: the eternal time factor has no beginning and no end. It is representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the maker of the criminal world. It brings about the end of the phenomenal world. It carries on the work of creation by bringing one individual into existence from another. And likewise, it dissolves the universe by destroying even the Lord of Death, Yamaraja. Purport: by the influence of eternal time, which is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Father begets a son, and the Father dies by the influence of cruel death. But by time's influence, even the Lord of cruel death is killed. In other words, all the demigods within the material world are temporary, like ourselves. Our lives last for 100 years at the most, and similarly, Although their lives may last for millions and billions of years, the demigods are not eternal. No one can live within this material world eternally. The phenomenal world is created, maintained, and destroyed by the finger signal of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, a devotee does not desire anything in this material world. A devotee desires only to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This servitude exists eternally. The Lord exists eternally. His servitor exists eternally, and the service exists eternally. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purpose of the third canto, 29th chapter of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, entitled Expansion of Devotional Service by Lord Kapila. Hari Bol.
Haribol. Okay, we can start also the next chapter.
Okay. Chapter 30, Description of Lord Kapila of Adverse Fruitive Activities. Text 1. Kapila Vacha Tasyai Tasya Jana Nuna Nayam Vedoru Vikramam Kalyamano Pibalino Vayoriva Ghana Avali. Kapila Vacha, Lord Kapila said, Tasya, Etasya, of this very time factor, Janaha, person, Munam, certainly, Na, not, I am, this, Veda, knows, Uruvikramam, the great strength, Kalayamanaha, being carried off, Api, although, Balina, powerful, Vayoho, of the wind, Iva, like, Ghana, of clouds, Avalihi, a mass. Translation: the personality of Godhead said, as a mass of clouds does not know the powerful influence of the wind. So, a person engaged in material consciousness does not know the powerful strength of time factor by which he is being carried. Purport: the great politician Pandita named Chanakya said that even one moment of time cannot be returned even if one is prepared to pay millions of dollars. One cannot calculate the amount of loss there is in wasting valuable time. Either materially or spiritually, one should be very alert in utilizing that the time which he has at his disposal. A conditioned soul A conditioned soul lives in a particular body for a fixed measurement of time. And it is recommended in the scriptures that within that small measurement of time, one has to finish Krishna consciousness and thus gain release from the influence of the time factor. But unfortunately, those who are not in Krishna consciousness are carried away by the strong power of time without their knowledge, as clouds are carried by the wind. Text 2. Yam yam artham upadate dukkhena sukha hetave tam tam dhunoti bhagavan puman chochati yat krite yam yam whatever artham 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 object upadate one acquires Dukhena with difficulty, Sukha hetave for happiness, Tam Tam that Dhunoti destroys, Bhagavan the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kuman the person, Shochanti laments, Yat Krite for which reason. Translation: whatever is produced by the materialist with great pain and labor for so called happiness, the Supreme Personality as time factor destroys, and for this reason, the conditioned soul laments. Purport: the main function of the time factor, which is a representative of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is to destroy everything. The materialists in material consciousness are engaged in producing so many things in the name of economic development. They think that by advancing and satisfying the material needs of man, they will be happy. but they forget that everything they have produced will be destroyed in due course of time. From history, we can see that there were many powerful empires on the surface of the globe that were constructed with great pain and great perseverance. But in due course of time, they have all been destroyed. Still, the foolish materialists cannot understand that they are simply wasting time in producing material necessities which are destined to be vanquished in due course of time. This waste of energy is due to the ignorance of the mass of people who do not know that they are eternal and that they have an eternal engagement also. They do not know that this span of life in a particular type of body is a flash in the eternal journey. Not knowing this, they take the small flash of life to be everything and they waste time in improving economic conditions. Wow. Text 3. Yad adhruvasya dehasya sanubhandasya duramatihi ध्रुवानि manyate mohat grahakshetre vastuni cha. Yet, because adhruvasya temporary, dehasya of the body, sa anubhandasya with that which is related, durmatihi misguided person, dhruvani permanent, manyate things, mohat because of ignorance, griha home, kshetre land, vasuni wealth, cha and translation. The misguided materialist does not know that this very body is an is impermanent and that the attraction for home, land, and wealth, which are in relationship to that body, are also temporary. Out of ignorance, only he thinks that everything is permanent. Purport: the materialist thinks that persons engaged in Krishna consciousness are crazy fellows wasting time by chanting Hare Krishna, but actually he does not know that he himself is in the darkest region of craziness because of accepting his body as permanent. And in relation to in relation to his body, he accepts his home, his country, his society, and all other paraphernalia as permanent. This materialistic acceptance of the permanency of home, land, etc., is called the illusion of Maya. This is clearly mentioned here. Mohat Grahakshetra Vasoni. Out of illusion only does the materialist accept the home, his land, and his money as permanent. Out of his illusion, the family life, national life, and economic development, which are very important factors in modern civilization, have grown. A Krishna conscious person knows that this economic development of human society is but temporary illusion. In, in another part of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, the acceptance of the body as oneself, the acceptance of others as kinsmen in relationship to this body, and the acceptance of land of one's birth as worshipable are declared to be the products of an animal civilization. So, Prabhu, patriotism is a joke for all the history that has been here.
Yes, bro.
Wow. When however one is enlightened in Krishna consciousness, he can use these for the service of the Lord. That is very suitable proposition. Everything has a relationship with Krishna. When all economic development and material advancement are utilized to advance the cause of Krishna consciousness, a new phase of progressive life rises. Text 4. जन्तुर्वैभाव एतस्मिन् यं यं योनिम् अनुव्रजेत् तस्यां स्थलाभते निर्वृतं न विराज्यते. Janutuhu, the living entity. Why? Why? Certainly, bhave in worldly existence. Etasmin, this yam whatever yonim species anuvrajit he may obtain tasyam in that saha he lavate achieves nirvritam satisfaction the not virajate is ours. Translation: the living entity in whatever species of life he appears finds a particular type of satisfaction in that species, and he is never averse to being situated in such a condition. Purport: the satisfaction of the living entity in a particular type of body, even if it is most abominable, is called illusion. A man in a higher position may feel dissatisfaction with the standard of life of a lower grade man, but the lower grade man is satisfied in that position because of the spell of Maya, the external energy. Maya has two phases of activities. One is called Prakshetpatmika and another is called Avaranatmika. Avaranatmika means covering and Prakshepatmika means pulling down. In any condition of life, the materialistic person or animal will be satisfied with his knowledge. Sorry, any or animal will be satisfied because his knowledge is covered by the influence of Maya. In the lower grade or lower species of life, the development of consciousness is so poor that one cannot understand whether he's happy or distressed. This is called avarnatmika. Even a hog who lives by eating stool finds himself happy, although a person in a higher mode of life sees that hog is eating stool, how abominable that life is. Text 5. Narakastopi dehambai napum napumam त्यक्तुम इच्छति नरका नरकायां निर्वृतौ सत्यां देव मायो विमोहितः naraka in hell stha situated api even deham body why indeed na not puman person tyaktum to leave ichchati wishes naraka narakyam hellish Nirvrtau, enjoyment, Satyam, when existing, Deva Maya, by the illusory energy of Vishnu, Vimohitaha, deluded. Translation: the conditioned living entity is satisfied in his own particular species of life, while deluded by the covering influence of the illusory energy. He feels little inclined to cast off his body even when in hell, for he takes delight in hellish enjoyment. I'll just read one more time. The conditioned living entity is satisfied in his own particular species of life, while deluded by the covering influence of the illusory energy, he feels little inclined to cast off his body, even when in hell, for he takes delight in hellish enjoyment. Wow. Purport: it is said that once Indra, the king of heaven, was cursed by his spiritual master Brihaspati on account of his behavior, and he became a hog on this planet. After many days, when Brahma wanted to recall him to his heavenly kingdom, Indra, in the form of a hog, forgot everything of his royal position in the heavenly kingdom, and he refused to go back. This is a spell of Maya. Even Indra forgets his heavenly standard of life and is satisfied with the standard of a hog's life. By the influence of Maya, the conditioned soul becomes so affectionate towards his particular type of body that if he is offered, give up this body and immediately you will have a king's body, he will not agree. This attachment strongly affects all conditioned living entities. Now, Krishna is personally canvassing, give up everything in this material world. Come to me and I shall give you all protection. But we are not agreeable. We think we are quite all right. Why should we surrender unto Krishna and go back to his kingdom? This is called illusion or Maya. Everyone is satisfied with his standard of living, however abominable it may be. Text 6. Atma Jaya Stuta Gara Pashudravina Bandhusu Niruddha Mula Hridaya Atmanam Bahumanyate. Atma, body, Jaya, wife, Suta, children, Agara, home, Pashu, animals, Dravina, wealth, Bandhusu, in friends, Niruddha, Mula, deep rooted, Hridaya, in his heart, Atmanam, himself, Bahu, highly, Manyate, he thinks. Translation: such satisfaction with one standard of living is due to deep rooted attraction for body, wife, home, children, animals, wealth, and friends. In such association, the conditioned soul thinks himself quite perfect. But this so called perfection of human life is a concoction. Therefore, it is said that the materialist, however materially qualified he may be, is worthless because he is hovering on the mental plane, which will drag him again to the material existence of temporary life. One who acts on the mental plane cannot get promotion to the spiritual. Such a person, one who acts on the mental plane, cannot get promotion to the spiritual. Wow. Such a person is always sure to glide down again to material life. In the association of so called society, friendship, and love, the conditioned soul appears completely satisfied.
Yes, Prabhu. It is like
Thank
this.
God.
These very nice verses. Getting really close up here.
Exactly.
To the next
Everything's
one.
so relatable. Does anyone
Okay,
else
let's
want to
read the.
continue, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much,
Okay.
Prabhu.
Thank you for the opportunity, Prabhu. Very well.
Hare Krishna, Vivek Prabhu, Hare Krishna, Dheeraj Prabhu, Tadar Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please come Prabhu, please come Prabhu.
Prabhu, can you read few verses?
Yes, Prabhu, again.
Prabhu, thank you, Prabhu.
Sadanyamana sarvanga esha udvangandina karote aviratma buddho duritani turashaya sadhanayama na. During sarva all anga his limbs esham these family members udavahana for maintaining adhina with anxiety karoti he performs Av- aviratma always buddha the fool sorry modha the fool duritani sinful activities durshaya evil minded. Translation: although he is always burning with anxiety, such a fool always performs all kinds of mischievous activities with a hope which is never to be fulfilled in order to maintain his so-called family and society. Purport: it is said that it is easier to maintain a great empire than to maintain a small family, especially in these days when the influence of Kali Yuga is so strong that everyone is hazarded
and full of anxieties because of accepting the false presentation of Maya's family. The family which we maintain is created by Maya. It is the perverted reflection of the family in Krishna Loka. In Krishna Loka, there are also family, friends, society, father and mother. Everything is there, but they are eternal. Here, as we change bodies, our family relationship also change. Sometimes we are in family of human beings, sometimes in the family of demigods, sometimes a family of cats, or sometimes a family of dogs. Family, society, and friendship are flickering, and so they are called asat. It is said that as long as we are attached to this asat, temporary, non-existing society and family, we are always full of anxieties. The materialistic do not know that the family, society, and friendships here in this material world are only shadows, and those they become attached. Naturally, their hearts are always burning, but in spite of all inconvenience, they still work to maintain such false families because they have no information of the real family association with Krishna. Text 8. Akshit Aksipta me mendriha strin strinam astinam cha mayaya raho rachitya lam pai sishunam kala bashinam akshipata charmed atma heart in indriya essences strinam of woman astinam false cha and maya by maya raha in a solitary place rachitya displayed al al alaphi alap alapai by the talking Sishunam of the children Kala Bhasinam with sweet words. Translation: He gives heart and senses to a woman who falsely charms him with Maya. He enjoys solitary embraces and talking with her, and he enchanted with by the sweet words of small children. Purport: Family life within the kingdom of illusionary energy Maya is just like a prison for the eternal living entity. In prison, a prisoner is shackled by iron chains and iron bars. Similarly, a conditioned soul is slackened by the charming beauty of a woman, by her solitary embraces and talks of so-called love, and by the sweet words of his small children, thus he forgets his real identity. In these verse, the word Srinam, Srinam Astinam indicate that womanly love is just to agitate the mind of men. Actually, in the material world, there is no love. Both the woman and the men are interested in their sense gratification. For sense gratification, a woman creates an illusionary love, and the man becomes enchanted by such false love and forgets his real duty. When there are children as the result of such a combination, the next attraction is to the sweet words of the children. The love of the woman at home and the talk of the children make one a secure prisoner, and thus he cannot leave his home. Such a person is termed in Vedic language a Grahamedhi, which means one whose center of attraction is home. Grahatsa, Grahatsa Grahastha refers to one who lives with family, wife and children, but whose real purpose of living is to develop Krishna consciousness. One is therefore advised to become a Grahastha and not a Grahamedi. The Grahastha's concern is to get out of the family life created by illusion and enter into real family life with Krishna, whereas the Grahamedi's business is to repeatedly chain himself to so-called family life in one life after another and perpetually remain in the darkness of Maya.
Haribol.
Thank you,
Thank you
Prabhu.
so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thanks so much for your association.
Very nice verses today. Okay, tomorrow we continue from verse 9.
Prabhu,
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Yes,
Hare Krishna.
yes, Prabhu.
Prabhu, could you tell me the first three verses? Actually, I was not present at that time.
Yes, Prabhu. It was 3:29:37. Yeah, this is the first three. It was about the time factor. And the Lord is equal to everyone. Okay, Haribol. Now we read 6 Astakam prayers. Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamaha. Read this 1 second. Tavagninirvapanam Shreyah Kairavachandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam.
नामकारि बहुधा सर्वशक्तिः तत्रापिता नियमिता स्मरणेन कालः एतादृशी तव कृपा भगवन् ममापि दुर्दैवमिदृशम् इह जानिनानुरागः
तिरुनागपि सुनिचेन तरोरपि सहिष्णुना मानेन मानदेन कीर्तनीया सदा हरि
न धनं न जनं न सुन्दरं कविता जगदीश कामये मम जन्मनि जन्मनेश्वरि भवतात् भक्तरहेतुकी त्वयि
Painandatanuja Kinkaram Patitama Vishame Bhavambuto Kripaya Tava Pada Pankaja Stidadule Sadarsam Vichintaya.
नयनं गलदश्रुधारया वदनं गद्गदहृदया गिरा पुलकेन सिता बभूव तव नाम ग्रहेण भविष्यति
युगायितं निमेषेण चक्षुषा पार्वेशायितं शून्यायितं जगत्सर्वं गोविन्दं विरहेण मे
आश्लिष्य वा पादरतां पिनष्ट माम् अदर्शनं मर्महतां करोतु वा यथा तथा विदधातु लम्पटो अत्रानुत्तमेव नापरः
Haribo, glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious.
O my Lord, your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you have invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by chanting your holy names. But I'm so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them.
Oh my Lord, one should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower in the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly.
O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. Only want your causeless devotional service birth after birth. O son of Maharaja Nanda, Krishna, I'm your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other, I have fallen to the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet.
O my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up, and when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name?
Oh Govinda, feeling your separation, I'm considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I'm feeling all vacant in the world in your absence.
I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly in his embrace or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.
Haribol, Shri Siksastakam ki jai, Chaitanya
Jai,
Mahaprabhu jai.
Jai.
Bahujan Makaraya Deshavana Kirtan, Tabutana Paya Krishna Pade Premadan. If one is infested with the 10 offenses in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, despite his endeavor to chant the holy name for many births, he will not get the love of God, and that is the ultimate goal of this chanting. The 10 offenses against the holy name are as follows. The first offense is to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord.
Second offense is to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of the Lord Vishnu.
Third offense to disobey the spiritual master and considering him as an ordinary person.
Fourth offense is to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance to the Vedic version.
Fifth offense to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination.
Sixth offense is to give some mundane interpretation to the holy name of the Lord.
Seventh offense to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord.
Eighth offense is to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna to be one of the auspicious ritualistic activities offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities, Karma Kanda.
Ninth offense to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name.
10th offense is to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy name and to maintain material attachments even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. It is also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to in order to quickly achieve the desired success, which is Krishna Prema. Let us offer our humble obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They can fulfill all the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls.
Sadhu
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्येव च
Vanchakalpatarubhasha
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः अनंतो कोटि
Pavanebhyo
वैष्णव की जय शरण प्रभुपाद की
Jai
जय गौर
Jai
प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि
Hare
बोल.
Hare Bol.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your
Thank you
association on
so
this
much,
very auspicious
Prabhu.
day.
Hare Krishna.
Pierce
Thank
Day.
you, Sami Prabhu, for hosting the evening.
Thank you so
Jai
much,
Shri
Prabhu.
Prabhupada. Thank you so much,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Now I need to cook something.